Are you somebody who tends to wind down at the end of a long, hard day with a glass of wine or some other alcoholic cocktail? Or maybe you tend to have several drinks on weekends with friends. If you consume alcohol in any form or fashion, you're going to want to listen to this video because I'm going to reveal 7 sobering facts about alcohol as it relates to your health. All right, I'm Dr. Amina, Goodwin, a physician and a health coach, and I help overweight people with blood sugar problems fix those problems without having to take more medications. Alcohol. I thought I'd choose this topic coming out of the holiday season. We just celebrated Christmas, New Year's, and a lot of people probably enjoyed some alcoholic beverages. I did as well. So I'm not in any means judging people for alcohol consumption. But I've been thinking more about alcohol lately, especially since in the news it's been talked about how alcohol use is on the rise, alcoholism, or should I say alcohol use disorder, the more politically correct term. And especially in women, we're seeing more and more cases of alcohol-related health problems, including liver failure and then ultimately cancer. And we're seeing these things in younger and younger people, including women. Before, several decades ago, we almost never saw alcohol-related health problems in women. It was only in men and older men. But these problems are becoming more common, and it's probably related to the fact that alcohol use or consumption it's acceptable. It's not taboo anymore, and everybody just sees it as going and having a good time. But we overlook a lot of problems that can arise from alcohol consumption, and I'm going to get into those 7 points that will give you an indication of maybe I should think twice about how much alcohol I'm consuming, okay? First one, alcohol is actually one of the very few things that can be absorbed straight from the stomach. Now, when we eat, most things are held in the stomach while the digestive juices, digestive enzymes work on it, on the food, breaks it down, and then it moves down into the small intestine where it then starts being absorbed into the body. Alcohol actually can start being absorbed from the stomach wall itself. And so that means the effects of alcohol can be seen almost immediately compared to if the alcohol was held in the stomach for an hour or two while it's being broken down before it moves into the small intestine for absorption. Alcohol absorption begins in the stomach. It can continue in the small intestine, but importantly, it begins in the stomach. And that is why that age-old advice has been given where you should try not to have alcohol on an empty stomach. If you have food in your stomach, then that's something to sort of dilute the amount of alcohol that you're taking in. And so the alcohol is more slowly absorbed through the stomach wall. And then, of course, more of it would move down into the small intestines with the food. So beware having alcohol on an empty stomach. It will be absorbed. It will take effect very quickly compared to if you have it on a full stomach, because it's going to be absorbed from there. Second point about alcohol is that alcohol can only be processed by the liver. Now, the other day I was talking to somebody and they were telling me, oh, but beer is better, right? Beer is a better type of alcohol to have than wine because beer is processed by the kidneys. Absolutely not. Only the liver can process alcohol. No other organ can process alcohol. I'm not sure where that myth or that belief came from that beer is better because it's processed by the kidneys. I don't know. I mean, beer tends to it tends to cause you to urinate more. So we talk about the diuretic effect of alcohol, the fact that it makes you go to the bathroom and produce more urine. It's not the type of alcohol, but it's just that ethanol alcohol per se acts on the kidneys where it prevents the kidneys from taking up more of the water, so you end up passing more water. It's sort of like caffeine, but any alcohol can do it, possibly some more than others. The liver is the only organ that can process alcohol, and for that reason, having lots of alcohol will overpower the liver, overwhelm the liver to where it's not able to do or carry out some of the other functions that it needs to carry out as well. Other tissues of the body like the muscles and so on and the brain and the heart and so on can process calories or energy from other foods, but only the liver can process alcohol. So beware of overpowering your liver, especially if you have underlying liver problems, any type of chronic hepatitis, if you have fatty liver. I did a video or maybe put out a clip before where even as something as simple, but it's not really simple, but fatty liver. So if you have any kind of liver disease, including fatty liver, you probably should think strongly about consuming alcohol because that is pressuring your liver even more. Third point about alcohol is that we probably all know this, but I personally never really thought about it per se, but alcohol actually has no use to the body. There's no tissue in the body that can utilize alcohol for any positive benefit. Essentially, alcohol is a poison. And we kind of know that we use alcohol as in sanitizers, in cleaning wipes and so on to kill germs. Alcohol kills things. And in fact, if you rub alcohol excessively on your skin or repeatedly on your skin, it will kill the surface cells of your skin as well. So alcohol is a poison, it is toxic. And apart from alcohol, even more toxic or more poisonous are the breakdown products from alcohol. So we ingest alcohol, the liver breaks it down, and those metabolites from the breakdown of alcohol, things like acetaldehyde, those things are even more poisonous, even more toxic than the actual ethanol itself. They can damage the brain and essentially damage all tissues of the body, which is why people who have problems with alcohol overuse, alcoholism and so on, they will tend to have basically earlier, quicker breakdown of the body and more disease because of the actual poisonous effects of alcohol and the breakdown end products. Okay, so no real use of alcohol to the body. It just gives us a good time. It loosens us and we can, I don't know, have fun sometimes. Or it might cause us to be hurt as well. So we have to be very careful about alcohol. Fourth point about alcohol, and this is another very important point, especially where health is concerned, is that alcohol actually can cause your blood sugar to go low, and it can cause your blood sugar to go dangerously low. And this is particularly experienced in some people who are already dealing with blood sugar issues, people who have diabetes, and not even necessarily a diabetic, but anybody can have this problem with alcohol. Well, like I mentioned before, only the liver can process alcohol. And because alcohol is literally poisonous, your liver is going to scramble to get rid of this poison quickly to save the body of the stress from being under the effect of this poison, okay? So while the body is scrambling to quickly break down alcohol and eliminate it from the body, it is not able to do the other functions such as make sugar. Sugar, of course, glucose is the sugar that the body is able to make, and that the liver serves as the sort of buffer. So when our sugar levels are low, when we're not eating or when we're sleeping, the liver is there behind the scenes making sugar to keep the levels in our blood stable. If your liver is now busy taking care of alcohol, it's not able to, in this back of the scenes, make sugar, and so your sugar levels can start dropping. And many people would have experienced this, where they start to feel trembly and jittery and even weak, and some people even pass out because their sugar levels are so low, because the liver is taking care of alcohol. It's already compromised because they have some underlying liver problem, including even fatty liver disease, and so they run into serious problems with low blood sugar level. Don't strain your liver, especially if you already have a liver that's a bit on the weak side, okay? Fifth thing about alcohol and your health that might be overlooked is that alcohol use or alcohol misuse, alcohol addiction can actually creep onto you. So like I said, alcohol is an acceptable substance that we consume, many of us consume. And because it's acceptable, we might not realize when it's becoming a problem. So I started this video by asking, if you're somebody who tends to wind down at the end of the day with a drink. And so especially those, like they're stay-at-home moms and just moms in general, maybe working moms who have such a hectic day, and then they have a bunch of children to take care of, and they're just sort of all frazzled. And the only thing that they feel helps them to calm down is that drink at the end of the day. And it comes to a point where some people actually realize, oh my goodness, like I can't do without, like I must have my drink, otherwise I will not feel well. And in fact, I have heard in discussions with people where some people actually think twice about whether or not they're going to start a family. Some women, because they're thinking, I don't know if I can give up my drink of alcohol. So, I can't get pregnant because I don't think I can do without alcohol for 9 months. And that's when you start to think about things like that, that's when you should realize, okay, maybe I have a problem, because I am really thinking I cannot give up alcohol. I can't live without alcohol for very long. Now, some of the questions you can ask yourself quickly if you are feeling like, okay, maybe do I have a problem? We talk about the CAGE questionnaire. So 1, have you ever actually thought that you needed to cut down on the amount of alcohol that you are using? 2, do you get angry when somebody mentions your alcohol use or the amount of alcohol you're using? 3, do you sometimes feel guilty about how much you're consuming? Do you tend to hide when you're consuming alcohol? And then 4, and this is when it's really getting bad, do you tend to need an eye opener? Do you wake up in the morning and feel like, oh my goodness, like I need to have a drink to get my day going? If you answer answered yes to any of those questions, and the more yeses to those questions, the more likely you are to have a problem, and you should consider maybe trying to get some help for this problem, right? So alcohol use and disuse can creep onto you without you knowing. It might be too late, right? Sixth point about alcohol, and this might not necessarily be that health related, but anyway, different types of alcohol have cause different effects on the body. Some types of alcohol are purer than others, and I learned about this a few years ago. Essentially, vodka is the purest of alcohols. It has the least amount of impurities, and some of the more impure alcohols, beer, rum. And so in terms of the impurities, when they distill them and ferment them and so on and so forth, the more impurities, the more likely you are to have a hangover, and the character or quality of the hangover varies depending on the alcohol, because it varies depending on the different types of impurities in the alcohol. So just something to consider, but vodka is the purest of alcohols, and so if you want to go for the pure, go with the vodka. The Russians were onto something with that. And then the final point, the seventh point about alcohol that I wanted to mention, is the fact that alcohol is very calorie dense. So a lot of people I know spend time counting calories and so on and so forth, but alcohol may be overlooked as a source of calories. And alcohol is so calorie dense, it almost the same amount of alcohol in terms of weight will have almost the same amount of calories as fat, like the macronutrient fat, right? So protein and carbohydrates, they will give you about 4 calories per gram. Fat will give you about 9 calories per gram. Alcohol will give you 7 calories per gram, so very calorie dense. And the sad thing about alcohol is that all the calories it's giving you come with no collateral benefits, no nutritional value for those calories. And that's why they talk about alcohol being empty calories. What your body does with those empty calories, depending on how much you consume, it's going to store it as fat. And that is why you see actual, classic alcoholic men will have that big beer belly or alcohol belly, because they have a lot of fat stored in their belly and in their livers, okay? Because all those empty calories, they got to go somewhere if you're not using them. So those are 7 overlooked points about alcohol that you might find sobering. Like I said, alcohol use is accepted, but we probably need to rethink how much alcohol, if any, we're consuming, because it can cause problems to our body that we might not realize until it's too late. Quickly, 1, alcohol is absorbed by the stomach. 2, alcohol is only processed by the liver. No other organ can process alcohol. 3, alcohol is a poison. It has no other use in the body. 4, alcohol can make your blood sugar go low. 5, alcohol addiction can creep in, and you might not notice it until it's too late. 6, vodka is the purest of alcohols. And 7, alcohol is very calorie rich, and so it can contribute to weight gain. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, please go ahead and share it with somebody who you think might benefit from it. And better yet, you can subscribe to this channel so that you can see and know when I am putting out more videos. Thanks again for watching, and have a happy and healthy 2024 and beyond, everyone. Bye bye.